In a busy city of Lagos, where life moved fast and dreams were chased, Nnee's story was a quiet reminder of the pain that often lurked beneath the surface. Nnee's life had been marked by a relentless search for her mother, Oge. She had hoped that finding her mother would bring her the love and acceptance she had yearned for all her life. But instead, it led her into a life of unimaginable suffering. Nnee had been a bright and hopeful child, despite the hardships she faced. She believed that one day she would find her mother and they would be reunited. She imagined a life where her mother would embrace her, apologizing for abandoning her, and they would live happily together. But reality had a cruel way of shattering her dreams. When Nnee found herself working as a house help for Oga, she did not know that the woman was her mother. Oge was a successful businesswoman respected by many, but behind closed doors, she was a tyrant. She saw Nnee as nothing more than a servant, someone to take out her frustrations on. The beating and the maltreatment started almost immediately. Oge was quick to anger and always ready to punish Nnee for the smallest mistakes. If the food was not cooked to her liking, she would throw it at Nnee, yelling insults. If the house was not spotless, she would slap Nnee and threaten to throw her out. One evening, after a long day of work, Nnee accidentally knocked over a glass of water. Oge, who had been in a foul mood all day, exploded in anger. She grabbed a wooden spoon and started hitting Nnee, not stopping, even when Nnee cried out in pain. "You are useless, worthless," Oge screamed, her eyes blazing with fury. Nnee curled up on the floor, trying to shield herself from the blow, but Oge did not stop until she was exhausted. Nnee's life was a cycle of fear and pain. She had nowhere else to go, and despite the abuse, she clung to the hope that she would one day find her mother. Little did she know that the woman who caused her so much pain was the very person she was searching for. One particular incident stayed with Nnee for a long time. Oge had accused her of stealing a piece of jewelry. She beat Nnee so severely that she could barely move for days. She locked her in a small room, giving her only water and bread. Nnee spent those days in darkness, her body aching, her spirit broken, but still holding on to the hope that she would one day find her mother and escape this hell. The day Nnee was hit by Oge's car was a turning point. Oge had accused her of stealing money from her purse. Enraged, she pushed Nnee out of the house into the street. In her haste to leave, Oge did not see Nnee standing by the gate. The car knocked Nnee to the ground and she lay there, blood pooling around her as people screamed and called for help. Nnee was rushed to the hospital. Her condition was critical. As she lay unconscious, the doctor did everything they could, but the injury was severe. Oge, filled with strange sense of dread, waited outside the hospital. The reality on her action began to dawn on her. Nnee's father was called to the hospital. When he arrived and saw Oge, a look of recognition and shock crossed his mind. "Oge, what have you done?" he demanded, his voice trembling. Oge looked confused. "What do you mean?" she asked. "Nnee, she is our daughter, the child you abandoned," he said, his voice breaking. The words hit Oge like a ton of bricks. She staggered back, her mind reeling. The realization that she had spent years tormenting her own child was too much to bear. Days turned into weeks, and Nnee's condition worsened. Oge was consumed by the guilt and regret. She spent hours by Nnee's bedside, begging for forgiveness. tears streaming down her face, but Nnee never woke up. One cold, grey morning, the doctor informed Oge and the Nnee's father that she had passed away. The world seemed to stop for Oge. The weight of her actions crushed her, and she fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Oge's life after Nnee's death was a never-ending torment. She lived with the haunting memories of her cruelty. The image of her daughter's lifeless body etched into her mind. She became a shadow of her former self, a woman broken by her own actions. The grand house that once stood as a symbol of her wealth and power now felt like a tomb, echoing with the ghostly presence of the daughter she had lost. Oge spent the rest of her days in solitude, consumed by the cold, relentless pain of regret and the haunting memory of the daughter she never knew. That is the end. Treat everyone right, irrespective of who they are. Thanks for watching. If you like our content, hit the subscribe button